Alright, welcome back to Only Divergences. Here we focus only on technicals and more importantly those beautiful divergent patterns which can produce massive returns. So before we start, as always, a big thank you for watching this video, liking this video, and joining our little community by subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm going to be here with you as we navigate these markets, and all I ask is you keep me accountable. One thing I want to say is that I really want to thank you for listening. Those who are listening, yesterday we had 40 subscribers, and I thought maybe we can get to 50 by the end of the month, and we're already well past that. So, I mean, this community is just so fantastic. So, today is Thursday, September 23rd, 2021, and we are looking at Palantir, which was up just under 5% today. It is just after 4:11 p.m. here on the East Coast. And I just want to point out that the return you see in the thumbnail, that 400-ish%, was the $28 call strike that expires tomorrow intraday. So again, while Palantir was only up 5% today, those calls were up around 400%. So I want to make this video really quick. What happened today? So in the last video, which you can watch by clicking on this link on the top right here, I talked about the somewhat precarious position that Palantir was in. We had to move higher, we had pulled back, it was somewhat divergent, and I stated that while the stock might move higher, that would just form another potential bearish divergence. So you only have a small little gap here unless we get a nice breakout, which we haven't had yet. We haven't had the increase in volume that we're looking for. So that's what made me a little bit more apprehensive. That said, the stock eventually did move higher yesterday and today, and now we have that potential bearish divergence. So as always, we start off with the weekly chart, and on this one I have the stochastic RSI here. This is a different indicator. It's another one of these special ones that people use it, I think, more than the DMI, but we're going to use it just to get a better understanding of the limits of market moves. So on the weekly, we really can't say much other than the stock has come down and is in an uptrend, although it's not in a blue sky uptrend because we do have potential supply up here, and we can see that this was kind of a resistance level and there was a lot of supply here, even though we are breaking out. That's really all we can say from the weekly chart. Go down to the daily, you can see that we had this doji here, we came down. This is when I published that video. The next day we did have some volatility and chop, but then the day after we had a nice move higher, and then today we had a nice move higher. So what can we say about this? Well, it does look like it can continue. And the thing about that that's really important to notice is that it's in a very slow, almost boring trend, right? It's been in a trend since this low here. I mean, you can argue that it's been in a trend since back here, and in fact, you can argue that it's been in a trend since back here, but you had all this funkiness going on. So all we'll say for now is that it's in this trend, and this is a boring, slow trend. It's a little volatile, I'll say that, but overall, you have dip buyers buying it as it moves higher, and it continues to move higher. Now, what's the problem with that? The problem with that is that it doesn't fit our trade profile. Remember, we're asking ourselves a simple question. What do I do with my money right now? And since markets are closed, right now really means Friday at the open, right? So do we buy Palantir Friday at the open? It's really tempting, right? I mean, it looks like we're trying to break out here, and we know what happens with breakouts. We can see a big move. But the fact of the matter is that the potential reward when compared to the risk, which is, the potential for a pullback here and more consolidation, is really just too, the risk is too high and the reward is too low, especially when you have 100 other stocks that you're tracking and you're really patient with the move. Yesterday we had the 400% move in Robinhood options. We don't have to be chasing anything moving forward, right? We can be patient because, there's going to be another move next week, and you want to wait for the most optimal moves. So, could Palantir continue higher in the long term? Like, let's say you bought the stock, you didn't buy options. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it looks like it's breaking out. It might be a little volatile moving forward, but overall it looks good. But again, that's not what we're talking about here on this channel. We want 400%. We don't want 10, 20% over 2 months. We want more than that. So that to answer that question, we would just say, no, the risk is too high for the potential reward. And again, I'm talking about buying an option tomorrow at the open. So if we look back at the hourly. This is extended hours. Let's just turn this off. I'll take a look at that in a second. But yeah, so you can see in that previous video, just on the top right, you can click that and watch it. I did say that, okay, yeah, maybe it's going to come up a little higher, but then that would just form bearish divergence. And that is what we have, but I do want to say something about that, which is, so first of all, a bearish divergence, for those who don't know, is when you have a high and then a subsequent high that is of a similar price level, but then you have a momentum high that is of a lower momentum level. And so what that just means is that the momentum is waning on a relative basis. So there is some risk that the stock could move into this general area, but there is also some risk that it can just consolidate. I actually favor something similar to what happened here, which is maybe a pop tomorrow and a little doji. But if that happens, then generally we'd have to look at that as bullish, because it means that price is continuing higher. And what that would also mean, which would be very good, it would mean that the bearish divergence has been burned through. Essentially, it's invalidated. And that would be very, very bullish. So if you're a holder of the stock itself, I think that overall it's good news. But if you're looking for options and you're looking for timing, the risk to reward is not optimal at this time. So if we take a look at the extended hours, we can see similarly, we have this orange 200 period moving average, which is supporting, it's rising, it's sloping higher. But again, we've already extended ourselves about 10% here. And it would be reasonable to expect that there would be some consolidation, even if the stock does eventually move higher. So that's all I'll say for now. I want to get this video out. I will be updating the S&P 500 and the VIX tomorrow, but you can watch my analysis of that by clicking here. As always, thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Take care.